welcome to my channel Journey of Spirit. It's 2 in the morning over here and Spirit was like, get up, do a video. It is also nice and hot and that's why I'm dressed the way I am. Not that sweet temperature to dive in the swimming pool yet at night. Yeah, topic is to let go of social standards, social norms, how it's been done for I don't know how long. So, for instance, a couple of days ago, I had an inkling to, or an urge, in a positive way, a motivational way, to do a video. As in, somebody in the ethos was happy to see me and wanted me to shine. And shining was to show up all spruced up and stuff. And I was like, somewhere wanting to acknowledge and join in, like in spontaneous playfully, but in the overall, when I reviewed the video that I made, I was like, it's a bit in the balance of, is it authentic? Does it fit? And Spirits confirmed it with videos of people not being all that together. People with disabilities running a marathon and finishing the marathon. In metaphor, it showed me the videos of people who are already promoting certain things, ready, done, and oh, it's a beautiful life. And then they showed me a video of a woman in her 70s or something, not who wasn't all put together, like ripped, etc., and showing her progress in a video where she was working out and getting a certain body type, so achieving her goals. I like to analyze and evaluate, and therefore I was like, okay, how else does that fit? And that also has to do with spirituality. Everybody can say that they had a difficult path and what have you, and it will only show or be proven that you went through it when you cry a couple of tears or whatever. And on some levels it's brave because you are conquering the fear of what everybody else would think of you. And the old constructs and concepts of emotions not being perfect or not being human or not fitting the narrative of a successful being in general. And I was like, all that stress, all that surrounding every topic is what we need to get over. Because in general, in the here and the now, like with the spiritual journey, yes, I had downloads. Yes, I could have posted videos. But behind the scenes, I have a. I also have the human experience. If we looked at Hollywood, everybody crammed in skinny dresses and too tight of dresses and what have you, and always having the perfect smile or bougie expression on their face. As in, that is the narrative of being successful. No. I've been homeless, and this is a long time ago. And I managed to get a roof over my head. I managed to learn laws, and so much more. So, in that respect, I'm freaking successful because nobody is telling me nothing. But there's also with the high and lows that a human still goes through. Like when I let go of that pressure, it was a motivational way of putting it that I should post that video, insights, etc. Yeah? But then I got kind of thrown off by insights in how it was for me doubting self back in the day. Not connecting those dots yet. So, with the purge or the purges that were going on, for example, had insights in my puberty and a little before that, on where people took me on trips or took me to places like downtown or what have you. Yeah? Me entering spaces and feel panic or felt like I blacked out a bit because Spirit was already directing me the last couple of months to the memory of that, and that goes in smaller segments, smaller steps, where I thought I was borderline uh, having the early stages of dementia or something was wrong with me because I could stand in the kitchen doing something, lose a couple of moments, become aware again in another dimension as I was standing in my kitchen, then only that dimension counted was the most important thing ever. to be snapped back into position, back into body, to be back in the kitchen and think like, what am I doing? So in the middle you have blackouts and awarenesses, and it was like basically going hand in hand, happening simultaneously. Where when you get an awareness of that, I had a what the moment. Yeah? In hindsight, like I said, in my youth, in my teens, and I totally forgot about those incidences where I would go into a mall, for instance, and be with a couple of my friends and be like, I don't want to walk here. Not on this side. I want to, or have a gut feeling that we had a mall with a couple of floors. And then I would look down and didn't want to go down there by any means. And before my teens, my mom took me down there once for a big toy store. It was the biggest toy store in the proximity. And my mom was so happy to get me there, or take me there. And I was like, mm-mm. Yeah, it's just a toy store, so why don't you? You're a kid. And I didn't have an answer. I had experience where I, in hindsight, channeled some wise words in other situations where I needed to shut my smart mouth, or I shouldn't meddle, or shouldn't do this, that, and so on. So going in that store, basically by force, and being in that store, completely shutting down. My mom would be, what would you like? You can pick a toy, you can, yeah. And I was like, had a memory of me in that store as a child. Not ever seeing a Annabelle or a Chucky movie that I can recollect, but being in that store, looking at a certain doll of a totally other brand that was fashionable for that day, and be like, if I would take that home, we are getting some kind of horror doll experience. I don't want a freaking toy from the store. Not saying it being a child with the experience I had, I just was like, the sensation throughout my whole body was the memory I had the last couple of days. So went through that same mall throughout my life several times, and now it came as in piecing all the pieces together. Didn't want to walk through a certain direction, and if I did, I needed to stay at a certain side of the mall. If I There was only one store, and that had leather jackets and fur jackets, and I was like, totally not into fur. And or letter. I couldn't be bothered, didn't care for it. But somehow I got sucked into the vibe. There was a certain energy, a certain vibe, and I was like magnetically pulled to it. And I was feeling it because something said, feel uh, the material. And mind you, mind me, there was nobody present, no store owner, no. And said like, and for these prices, and I was like, I'm not here to buy these things, or I just was coming in through. I was pulled by the vibe, and isn't that strange? And this can happen in a flash of a moment, a couple of seconds, where you feel like you are away for hours. Anyway, that energy also directed my attention to how that mole was back in the day. I had conversations about it this week, where the person more familiar with this town said in history it was a different ground. There have been several structures built there and rebuilt there. So it's strange that you would say it, because yes, in a certain era it was dead. But that's a long, long time ago. So now I was getting answers for what happened back in the day, where back in the day I was taught to keep it quiet, to keep it to self. And although I treasured those moments, I didn't link it to I'm spiritual. I linked it to I might have gone mad. I might have been crazy. There is that sneaky trauma, that sneaky demonic energy where people are talking about. Where there might be that blockage on a spiritual gift. Because in the overall, because I can have several more examples to explain it, it boils down to I was already a spiritual medium. But because I filed it in my Akashic record as I might have gone crazy, or this is out of this, nobody is going to believe me and or going to label me crazy, is by I hid it in a safe place to keep me safe. So that is parts of you keeping you safe, your higher self. But in the laws of duality, or the realms of duality, it is also something that keeps you or prevents you from fully trusting self. Then my inner child had a little moment. My inner teen had a moment of, if my mom took me to that specific place a couple of times with a smile on her face. Like I was crazy and there was nothing to be scared about, come on. That I was being crazy shy or whatever. She liked to, yeah, and that it was, if I have to describe it feeling wise, it was like you going on a trip with your parents, getting lost on the town square in the crowds, and your parents leaving you because they didn't have a choice, going back where they back to home base to basically get the search team out, and then after days or whatever you've been found again. That's how it felt, because you are in different, with your conscience or with your spirit, you are in different bubbles, different worlds, and becoming aware that you were that alone also shows how vulnerable, in my example, I was. Yeah, and spirit was, that is something that not everybody speaks about. And those are the moments that need to be shared to prevent this kind of trauma. So, meanwhile, there were freak accidents as well, going in happening in 3D life. Scares of possibly losing a loved one versus being shocked, losing someone unexpectedly, and then not directly, because it wasn't so much for me or is about me. It is more also empathically, with full sensitivity, picking up on that and just crying from a distance, crying with the person that is unconsolably who is going through a lot. So the beauty of it is the ability to now see it and also develop some more. To help others. I'm also again researching other things in the mix. So that spiritualist, everything is love and light. Either or, it's totally dark night, no. No, there's a balance. And or needs to be. Also a download in the whole bunch of ish that is going around is let me see if I can if I'm allowed to share. Oh yeah. If we are part of a whole, if we are part of Source the creator, yeah? So you, me are connected. When you got a whole network, a whole frame of dots being one big oil spill on the ocean, for instance, yeah? We are then the mirrored version of Source and Creator. And how the download proceed was think about how we are enabling others and how we are giving away our power in more than one way. If we are shell shocked in news we are receiving from, and then Spirit gets me to rephrase, look at the numbers we carry as a collective, as humanity, versus the people who think they are playing magician or are controlling the narrative. Spirit was like, please explain that we all have those moments of being somewhat cell-shocked, not really knowing what to do in the moment, being sensitive and or a medium or whatever you like to label, because labels are also in a factor. Throughout my own journey, I taught myself not to label. Not label myself, because that meant that if I would give myself a title and or a label, that somebody else would get expectations out of me or of me, where I would feel a need to oblige. And therefore I taught myself to not label, only solely in secret for the time being. Just as you are going to declutter your house, you have a throwaway bin, you have a bin of the things that absolutely have to stay, and you have the maybe for the purpose when you are in doubt and not sure what you are going to do. Yeah, that's how I took my whole spiritual journey. Not labeling myself, what I was in, what kind of moment, and if I just felt overwhelmed or it was too chaotic, then I was like, okay, now I would like those little handles, and then I would label, give it a temporary label of it's this or that or that. Yeah, so with the labels, you enable somebody to have expectations of you, where I'm being a rebel going against the grid, we are over that. Because look at the people who look all together decently in suits, having waxed their hair and their mustache and what have you, not curled their eyelashes to look beautiful in the Armani suit, and be like, I'm a successful business person, and then behind the scenes, yeah, cheating, scamming, what have you, throughout their whole existence. That is not being well put together. That's a lie in a pretty package. When it comes to bullying or I don't know if I can call it bullying, because you can pick up on faults of people as well. It being, that's me fragmenting the other person. Spirit is telling me to get over that. Can I use it in this example, or do I skip it? Redirecting me to, we are giving our power away. We are, as a whole, the creator. Yeah, so if we enable, by us being shell-shocked, other people to go, haha, I got your money, and haha, we are going to do this, while we have, with how many people are we? And what kind of flippin' small grid or group is that? Yeah? It is by, if we talk about tests, people get their ideas from universities. Almost every freaking thing was like offered as a solution to the business person experiencing a glitch in their business. And that doesn't matter if it's an NGO, it doesn't mean if it's in healthcare, childcare, what have you. We have a 90%, if not more, chance that it comes from a freaking university where people were trying to regain control over their business. This can be good, this can be, yeah, mind you that we can all have a tantrum when there is a certain change that we don't like. But that is, again, in the for the bigger picture. So you have a spectrum of self, that where you, if you awaken and you haven't spoken up yet and you are awakening, so to speak, to the truth, then you are kind of shell-shocked, you're hurt, you are having all kinds of feelings which are perfectly normal. If the mess is feeling it, yeah, and you are seeing it everywhere. You get the alchemized version is that you are trained in expansion, like zoom in, zoom out. That mechanism behind the scenes for your spiritual development, etc. So it has a purpose. When you are going through that sludge, it ain't pretty, yeah? And you can get the reaction. So get re-triggered by the trigger because you now see what's outside of you, what you kept inside boiled up because let the other sheep jump first and see if they drop dead or survived. Yeah, that's the primal part of it all. And if they did jump, well, you can jump. So you are in the aftermath of the whole thing. So you are feeling isolated by the vibrations of all that what is happening around you. So every over exaggerated, if you can rationalize and if you take it back to self and be like, what the fuck was I on about? Because how this got translated to me was Spirit showed me conversations about what others were projecting out about some of my videos. Is she going to overcome that? Is she going to make a fool of herself? Is she ashamed? Explanation point. Is she did she scare herself by content that she made? If it's thoughts of somebody, or if those were conversations they had without me, or what have you, I don't. It doesn't matter. I know that if I would stay in that situation, and it's the same if you are awakening, as in the example I just gave, where you have the aftermath, you have got the after shocks, and you are like everything is over exaggerated. Yeah, if you keep yourself in that field, in that scope, you are not helping yourself and you are not helping anyone else because your reaction will help someone else to also have a certain reaction, and then you didn't help yourself because then you have the reaction of the reaction, and then you get a longer ripple effect aftermath. And that is like I said, just see it. Yeah, I just like to make people aware of that, of those details, because on topic of us being like source, if we as a collective believe and behave a certain way, then yeah, as Spirit said, we are source creator. We were the ones that didn't sign a note like, it's fine that you like to spit off some ideas or debate or what have you with that university to improve yourself. But in legal matters, you take them like human rights, etc. You have common law, you have all those layers. And yeah, The moral of the story is that it has a source, some key guidelines that are mirrored versions of each other. Which they also have a guy or a person to solve that when it comes down, when we bump into that problem, yeah? Instead of filtering it in right away. So between business and or the organization, it is nothing more and nothing less than I, as a, for example, now I'm the business owner, I have a problem, I know a guy, yeah, can you help me figure this part of the problem out? Because that is your specialty. And then be like, okay, you figure out this and that. But to make the process for me easier, yeah, to get things going, I cut out, because you don't need to know that and you don't need to know. But that can create that can create a domino effect. Because by law, if we were basically offered a test regime, the contract of the university clearly stated, and I'm talking not that they let the kids do it, no, I'm talking about, maybe there are some students involved, but mostly it are the professors that are, yeah, having a higher function and think they are. That is just some of the energies I picked up on from some years ago. Not all of them are bad. There is a shift. Let's keep that in mind. Anyway, from that university, they will say people need to become aware of being tested before being tested, to show free will, etc., because we are at test phase. For a while now, the majority skipped that part from the business owner's point of view. So the business owner, with their other guys and what have you, personnel to do the work for them, didn't tell them the full story, just test it out. It's an experiment. No, those are, yeah, just do your legal research. Yeah. But that is how it starts. And then if it goes on long enough, by multiple people joining in, it flows out. And you got the river becoming the sea. Just like it. That's how it got channeled. So it flows out through many streams into a bigger us being the oneness, the sea. So if we don't enable everyone and everybody to test us, say like, heck no, I'm not going to test out your product because I have worries about your product for such and such reason, then you are in your freaking right to do so. Also has to do with laws. Lawmakers have to re-evaluate every law they made over here every 2 years. And then they try to get away by renaming the law and testing it out. Yeah, that's how the garbage gets in. As in, and this is going to confuse the out of you for a moment. It's also when you complained to or file complaints to, yeah, you might and let's say in the bigger picture you file a complaint with a lawmaker or with your state, yeah. Be careful what you wish for, because if you want protection, now they basically, if you look back in the Akashic record, yeah, they wanted to basically cradle you, hand you the image of wanting to take care of you, baby you. Don't fall for it. But to take that power back is to acknowledge, okay, maybe I shouldn't have asked for that. Maybe I shouldn't, or be more specific. So there are several niches in how we do what we do. Experience what we experience and ask what we ask for. So with me, the experience of just last week or last couple of days, letting it sink in, for example, that I was always was a psychic medium, yeah, with by default by different labeling of self. Because now I'm a grown person, now I can't blame people that aren't in my life, yeah, anymore. Therefore, I also needed to reevaluate my behaviors towards other people which I encounter, and be like, okay, did I hurt them, or did I do something to, yeah, be in my way, be in their way, what have you. So then you go in a new learning curve or a new rabbit hole. Yeah? It's also me in that moment manifesting an additional teaching. So it's still on topic, it's still about how we manifest, how we control when we feel or think we aren't in control. Is that narcissist then being right? Oh yeah, thank you, Spirit. There was a message about that. My experience was like in the mall, and it was a scary experience looking back at it. that moment I had to keep my cool and go with the flow to preserve self somehow, some way. I also had a separate bubble, it being fantasy or whatever you like to call it. That was my safe space. But down to the nitty gritty, you can see how dangerous it actually could have been. How many bad energies and or influences, if they are aware or not, are basically out there. Where although a narcissist is not pleasant, it's the kinda crazy, familiar crazy, what keeps us or kept us grounded, as in the empath versus narcissist dynamic in relationships. I got that out. Yay. So there is a new level of wisdom behind it. Yeah. There was something else for somebody else who needed to hear that. Former experience of where, yeah, I tapped on that I had a burnout, but I couldn't, it wasn't about burnout, so sorry for me not knowing back there what I know now. Was the fear of being affected by any other energy than you. Me being a psychic medium, and maybe so much more, and or more, I pick up on animal vibes. I can pick up on, yeah, but with the burnout, my spirit was like slicing, dicing it. No, you are having this now, just so for you to sit down, to sit on the desk, and to really reevaluate or evaluate taking those lessons to heart. Where I developed, I thought I was really afraid of the outside world, being in contact with other people. This is also something of 8 years ago, if not longer, and I had to keep throwing me in public. Like, no, we're not going to constantly do this. We are mastering self and go out because we can go out, and we are in because we can stay in. So they're thinking I was fearing other people's energy because the knowledge I was absorbing was about energy vampires, was about narcissism, was about gaslighting, was about all those topics. And those helped. To, again, in hindsight, because the process in itself is like this, not, it doesn't look perfect, it isn't shiny, it isn't whatever glamorous story somebody else likes to shove down your throat. It is what it is. And it taught me that in the downloads of now, the uh, better establishing of self is seeing that, yeah, your loved ones or whatever ties you have to your network are also uh, affecting you. But the choice is basically up to you. Do they have power and dominion over you? With me, there are some, yeah, there might be still some edges, because I did have some new insights about that, and I was like, oh, for real, this week? Not because I come out of generations worth of strong, kind of dominant, feminines that are that present. And therefore, I kept myself safe and myself self, yes. But some still might have rubbed off on you as it did on me. I was like, ugh, for real? And then you have a freaking out moment of, okay, I feel like I'm never safe nowhere. And I think that's moments of hysteria people can experience. Of real panic, of not knowing where to go, of not knowing where to feel safe. But in the overall, what kept me going was the knowing of, okay, I'm here. I'm still here. And I'm in my skin. I'm breathing. I still have choices like when to eat, when I want to eat. I still have dominion over my mind. Like when I have had enough something, and I know this about self through some accidents I had in my teens. I learned about those mechanisms that your angel or your higher self keeps you safe by sometimes taking away parts of the awareness in a moment and giving it back when the storm has passed and you are back in your body, back in present. Spiritual awakening, spiritual journey is moving yourself. Yeah? First, still kind of unaware, and then you. So, the more you master, or the more you acknowledge, accept, work through of self, the more you get to control, harness self. And the burnout also taught me that you can't escape it. Whatever it is that scares you, or whatever it is that is keeping you mentally occupied. It is there. It doesn't hurt you. Might wear you down in that moment. And all the other parts of you that make you into a whole being might get triggered and might have a say about certain things. And you might feel overwhelmed. But it's always in hindsight that you go like, huh, I'll be. And be totally fine. Spirit was also telling me that what some consider to be overwhelming in knowledge, if you sit with it, it's basically all coming from or boiling down to one thing or one source, and that will give you better focus of what you are working toward or what you want to learn about or what you want to ignore, period. Yeah. So for me it was, if somebody was like, is she going to make more of a fool of herself, or is she crazy? No, she's not crazy. Are we going to have episodes? I'm a human. I have emotions. I am spiritual. My soul can cry for others. I don't like it and I accept it and I experience it and it is what it is because I love life. I love people's what they would consider crazy. And people were missing these little in between moments where you can cry about something and you can explain it in that new age or in that spiritual mystique way of then carrying the title of being mystique, being that yogi and dancing accordingly, as in how somebody somewhere back in way back when would state that it had to be done a certain way. No. This right here, these in between tools, those just that little bit of that safety handle of okay, before I'm going to let myself fall any deeper, or when I need this break, I need this, or this would have been helpful just to give me some peace of mind, to give me space to receive and accept certain input, and then remix it, whatever, into something for self. When I talk about I can be a wave starter, I can be a wave shower, whatever, a Kickstarter, I can break down the system, whatever. Yeah, the new titles. Then it's also normal to have those extremes, because one part of you feels a certain freedom, likes to experience it, the other still tries to hold you back a bit, and then you go back and forth between those patterns. In the dualism or the duality entrapment, I had a moment 2018 or 19 where I was going through the knowledge that was already out there, researching, looking at websites. I was like, okay, neutral is yogi, would also can be referred to as the neutral line in the middle. I'm safe from karma when I stay there and observe. And basically shocked to not make a decision to hold on to the feeling that you are in. That's your own choice. That is what you need to hear now. I was like, no, I'm here to live life. So, okay, I know this. This is a nice way to create some platforms, some bubbles for self. Some safe havens for resting up, to recharge. And then in between I would go left and or right. In a moment, if you let it up to somebody else's judgment, you are in a extreme. If I don't know you and I see you in left and in or right, and it's your first time, you are like a kid high on sugar, with an overload on sugar. Like, yeah, and you will look as crazy to me as Eileen would probably have looked to you in one or two of my videos, if not all of them. That's fun with self. Anyway, so you do this and that. Left or right, that is what I mean with extremes, but I have to address it for you to be aware of it, because not everybody in that shocking awakening, in the flash awakening, don't know that yet, or aren't aware of that yet. So they just bounce off left. Left extreme versus right extreme. And oh, we're tired, but don't know that they are doing what they are doing. They are YOLOing. And for the one stuck is basically afraid to make a decision. Also a normal, I also went through it. And it's a crazy place to be, but enjoy that place. I miss that place. Yeah, it's when you see what the reason behind it was, or that those are aids for you to help you. It helps you through the moments where it ain't that pretty. Yeah, I can elaborate more, but I'm aware that I went through pulled a couple of loopings on your ass, but that was to get you out of that shell shock, stuck, and or victim, and or what have you, which are fine. We all go through it. But then after you would like to manifest better, positive, and or lighter. Yeah. So now next step is ready. I shook you out of it to make you aware that there are better times coming. It's that easy. Yeah, you got the power. So you are in that certain mind bubble wherever you are. Snap out of it if it doesn't serve you, or if you can't handle it now. Dive back in when you feel brave again. You also decide that tempo for the majority. Depends on what your purpose is. But let us all take back our power. Let us all find a neutral way to be the star in that new age, new shift. That's a better word. New shift mentality. New dimensions, new titles, new ways of looking at things. So I hope this helped. I hope this informed you enough. And yeah, we're okay. No matter what we go through, yeah, we are okay. Namaste. See you in the next. Oh yeah, you can like, share, and subscribe to help this get out to others that might just need this kind of content. So thank you so much. Namaste. Bye.